All right. Welcome back to the show where we summarize the awesome campaigns we did. Um, so, um, don't play Anima. Okay, so where last we'd left off, basically after the big time skip where Goku has a son, the major differences are Goku's a cyborg. That didn't have much of an impact on the rest of the campaign. It had some very small game mechanic differences in that you were slowly adapting to energy attacks and bullets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it.
Very quickly adapting to bullets, but
Yeah, you got hit by those a lot, and so you were able, like using the cyborg mechanics in Anima, you were able to adapt to them pretty quickly. Tao Pepe was alive and on your side, and Roby the robot was an essential part of your life. So.
Also Goku was a house husband while Chi-Chi went out and won the tournament.
Yes, exactly. Like, I love that. Like
He'd be so much
a
happier.
Goku who learns to cook for himself is such a like fulfilled Goku.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like he loves to eat, but he's like he's only like the only time he's shown to cook that I can think of is in the opening scene of the manga where he cuts down a giant fish and then roasts it over a fire and then eats it raw.
He roasted it.
Yeah, he eats it roasted, not spiced, not like just fish. And he calls practically everything he gets after that delicious. So, the Saiyan arc starts off pretty much the same. Raditz shows up. Raditz encounters Piccolo. Then Raditz heads straight for Goku, the only other big power signature on the planet. Meets him, captures Gohan, and yeah. The thing that's different, I think, is how good your response time was and how quickly you were like, hey, I can't, I'm not doing this alone. I'm gathering everyone. We're all going in. Let's take a plane. This is a serious enemy. So you went in with like all of the Z fighters. Tao Pepe, like the Master Roshi was there, Krillin, Yamcha. Like you were like, I'm not fucking around. I'm not going with just Piccolo. Nah.
I do, like, I'm pretty sure the first thing I said was, like, kill Chi-Chi however I can. And I'm almost certain
Oh.
like,
Yeah.
Does Chi-Chi get informed her son has been kidnapped?
No, Chi-Chi has to find out, like, because canonically Goku dies and is killed by Piccolo in that fight. You didn't die, so that was good for you. But like, Krillin, like Bulma is like, I'm not telling Chi-Chi about what happened, and Krillin has to tell her about her son getting kidnapped and her dying, and also Piccolo then re-kidnapping Gohan to train him. Like Krillin tells Chi-Chi in the original game, your Goku is so much more caring and loving, and that was beautiful. Just Krillin having to pick up the pieces of Goku being such a bad dad, and just like Gohan is put through a gruesome training, but by Piccolo. But Piccolo is still seen as a better father figure to like in the original content.
Fair.
Anyways, you fight Raditz.
Uh-huh.
There was this Anima build that I wanted to try out, which was a clone duplication build. Nothing to do with like Raditz's powers, but also Raditz is pretty like flavorless in the manga. He's just more powerful than the other two, and they have and he has the monkey's tail, so he has that one weakness they know about.
Yeah, I think the fight kind of ended up like your build was interesting, but like
I hadn't realized that. Yeah, it had a pretty big flaw.
which is, I mean, you can just pick them off one by one.
Yeah, like each clone had such penalties.
That it
You
was
won.
very easy to fight all of them together, especially when I had the whole crew.
Yeah.
So I won. I was never really in danger of death.
Yeah. I don't know if you. Okay, the Dragon Balls can on Earth they can grant one wish, right?
Right.
Yes, it's just one wish. It's the Namekian ones that can do 3 wishes. Okay, so Raditz, you didn't kill him.
Right.
Because I remember, because you, while you had your back turned, Bulma pulled another Tao Pei Pei and was like, make him be good, like to the Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
And Raditz was a good guy, like became allied to the Z Fighters.
Yeah.
Like it
Without
makes
my knowledge, I just thought he had a change of heart.
yeah. Like it just it made sense in the whole like logistics that we'd worked out of like you can't kill your enemies, but in the traditional Dragon Ball way, if you spare them, they join the team.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, yeah, no, Raditz is on the team now. So you train with him. You still got the offer to train with the Blue Beetle guy in the afterlife.
With a tiny planet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. So like, except you don't need to be dead to go there, as we see a lot of characters who are not dead showing up there all throughout the series. So you went there to train with Raditz, but not before.
Yeah, we both went. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. But not before having a father-son talk where it was like, Piccolo wants to train me. I'm like, I don't want to be a fighter. I don't want this, but also it's becoming necessary for like our survival, and I'm going to take his offer. And you were like, okay, Piccolo, do not fuck him up.
To be clear, we all know I can fuck you up.
Yeah.
I will kill you.
Yeah. And so Piccolo had to like tone it down. He still destroys the moon because Gohan's tail grows back and he becomes a monkey, and Piccolo is like, fuck, I can't deal with this shit, I'm destroying the moon. So the moon still gets destroyed. That the training that Piccolo gives Gohan still happens. It just like the threat of Goku coming back to beat his ass means that Piccolo immediately has to be more patient, and yeah, the similar bonds form. It's just less toxic.
Yeah, slightly less toxic, and we got a brotherly bond going on. Like
Yeah.
I am bonding with Raditz, even though once again I don't know that he got wished into being a good guy.
Yep. I think you find out later
when it gets the
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll get to that.
yeah.
The time skip progresses pretty much the same. And I love that sequence. So like, just like in the manga, the Nappa and Vegeta arrive early, right? Earlier than expected. So you are having to rush back to like along the dragon path, and what I did was that I gave you a D12, and I told you there are 12 Z fighters that are holding
Like holding the line, yeah.
holding the line. You have like, I think it was 20 turns basically, where you had to roll, and each time the number fell on the number of a character, that character died. We weren't seeing the whole fight. I was narrating. You were just feeling the key signatures like disappearing one after the other, and as luck would have it, very similar things. I think it was Krillin, Gohan, and Master Roshi that.
Feels right.
I don't remember exactly. I know Tenshizan, Yamcha. I don't even remember if Yajirobe was involved, but it doesn't really matter because he didn't have much of an impact on the rest of the story.
Yeah, I don't know whether or not he's
Tao Pei dies.
Yeah.
That's an important plot point. And then you arrive. You have this epic fight with Vegeta.
Yeah, I think Gohan did die, because I remember being like,
No,
survived?
no, he survived. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just Krillin, Roshi, and Gohan were alive. Everyone else died.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
that's how I remember it, and like
either way,
the
like,
odds,
these are all people. Like,
yeah, like the odds were not in your favor, but like the fact that the characters that them dying would have you transform Super Saiyan survived, and that they were the same like characters that like Master Roshi just isn't in this fight in the manga, so he also survives canonically the massacre by Nappa and Vegeta. You get there, you kick Nappa's ass. The fight with Vegeta, I think that I did his build the same way that I did a small variation on your build, where he hadn't invested, he wasn't keeping back a bunch of points
for psychic
for psychic stuff for when he became
so you were just better at
yeah, you were holding back some points that you could have spent on stuff, and I was just like, no, he's gonna have like a couple of like secondary skills that can be used in combat, but on the other hand, you had the surviving characters to help you, and that gave you the edge. We did have that moment of Vegeta creating a moon and then transforming, and then who had or didn't have a tail, it became important. So like Gohan also transformed, and it was great. Vegeta makes it out barely. I had to cheat because like you were like, all right, time to throw in like my technique. It's gonna be Kamehameha, but there's gonna be 10 of them because I'm using Wolf and Fist. And you started rolling, and you started telling me the damage you were doing, and I was like, all right. So
was this where I had my triple open roll?
Probably.
I think I had at least a double. I had at least a double here.
So like,
I remember being very lucky in this fight.
So like instead of instead of Vegeta like surviving, everybody is down. He calls his like shuttle to come and pick him up. While you were doing the clash of like beams, he got pushed into the air, and his spaceship had to pick him up like while he was in the air to save him, like to because you absolutely kicked his ass. And then there was a very cool sequence where y'all get to the hospital. Y'all are starting to heal, and you, thanks to I know his Blue Beetle guy, who you're able to like communicate with the people who died, and you find out that like Tao Pei made it to the afterlife. He was in heaven with the other characters, and then out of nowhere, black smoke appears, goes into his nostrils, and the heaven police comes in and drags him to hell. And you were like, what the fuck is that about? And Bulma, who's in the room, no, hold on. Bulma wasn't in the room.
I think it was Chi was in the room.
And Krillin.
Right.
So I think that you heard just a little bit before that reveal. You heard about the Namekian spaceship that had gotten Piccolo down to this planet in the first place, and instead of sending just Bulma with the character that we will not mention,
we sent Bulma with Raditz.
Raditz.
Yes. Because we have an alien and we have a genius, so we'll send those two.
And I think Master the hamster guy, Kirin.
Yes, Master Kirin.
It's unclear what Master Kirin is, but he's got whiskers, so I think he's just a fat cat. So yeah, like Master Kirin, Bulma, and Raditz are going to investigate the thing, and you piece it together. But right. Goku didn't know, had no way of knowing.
Literally.
So you were like, oh yeah, Piccolo died. You had described the black smoke of Tao Pei's evil going into the Dragon Balls when you done this. So when Piccolo dies, the evil comes back out and gets Tao Pei, and that's why he gets dragged to hell. And you're like, ah, shit, Raditz. And I was like, yep, Raditz. And the way that things happen is that Raditz basically kidnaps Bulma and Kirin and just goes straight to Namek.
Yeah.
And you, Bulma's dad, is the one who makes the spaceship for you to follow along with Gohan and Krillin.
Right.
No, hold on.
Because Bulma was definitely gone, so like.
Yeah. No, I was trying to remember who was in the spaceship with you. I know Roby the robot was in the spaceship with you.
Our pilot extraordinaire.
But so like you level up because we're doing a training montage as you're training with the heightened gravity spaceship, and I described that from like the distance you can feel the key signatures of Raditz, Bulma, and Kirin like being confronted by the Frieza Force on planet Namek, and like you arrive with them like losing a battle against the Frieza force, the Ginyu force.
Yeah, Ginyu Force.
And Vegeta was desperate because like everything was going wrong, and had also allied with Raditz and Master Kirin in this. So Vegeta's redemption arc was still happening when you got there.
And of course, we have very complicated feelings about Raditz here because he is acting very evil, but he does have like some like actual emotional bonding with these people. He's just
and with Bulma
and
and a romance is starting.
Yeah.
So
she loves the bad boys.
She does. It just makes sense for there's the Stockholm syndrome. There's the fact that they had to spend so much time together in a spaceship that canonically only has one big room and one toilet.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of like close quarters.
Yeah.
Like he is a bad boy and like tough. Two things that she clearly likes. And then like they are stuck fighting for their lives together.
Yep.
So yeah.
But bonds were starting to happen. So like Raditz was also getting a redemption arc a little bit off screen because like you just weren't there.
I think we mostly had conversations about that happening, like out of play, and it was great though.
And so you get to planet Namek. You arrive in the fight, and the Ginyu Force was a great opportunity for me to try a lot of Anima builds that I'd been wanting to do. That I'd been wanting to try out. So
I remember like you had one that was like sniping me from another dimension.
Yeah, the assassin build. Yeah. So like I gave them like, okay, so time stop guy was still a time stopper. Everybody else who was just like big beefy guys, I gave them like variation powers based on builds that I wanted to try. I made them hard. You absolutely steamrolled all of them except Ginyu.
Yes, except one.
You and Gohan are fighting Ginyu because Vegeta and Raditz had gotten like knocked out of combat. Bulma and Roby the Robot have picked up the spaceship and going back into orbit.
Yes.
That's a very important, like, for safety.
As soon as like we were anywhere near each other,
like
evacuate the civilians.
Like something that should also have happened in the manga if they were just thinking a little bit about like.
I mean, honestly, power level wise, we probably should have evacuated Krillin too, but.
He was there, yes. But you know, like the way we arranged the game mechanics, like you got a unique buff for each of the Z fighters that was present in any thing. So like he was helping.
Yeah, he was helping. He was helping.
So the fight with I love that. I love everything that happens from that moment onwards because it deviates in a very fun way. So you're fighting Ginyu. Ginyu starts to use his body swap technique. He misses you the first time and hits a bird. And then as the bird, I was like, it's a parrot style bird, so he's still able to say the word exchange and he's still able to use his technique. And this time he does hit you with the body swap. And the only person who's left in the fight who's able to do anything is Gohan, and then Ginyu just shoots one of the birds out of the sky and like destroys it, and it's in that moment that Gohan becomes the first Super Saiyan, and Frey switches over to his more optimized build.
I had realized some issues.
Yeah, like
and had created spreadsheets to better maximize.
yeah, it's like the
and specifically, it was built upon the fact that in the French translation of Anima, there was a requirement that didn't exist in that version, but did in others, that made the bonuses to attack and block available from martial arts, advanced martial arts, advanced levels, became super effective and super cost effective.
Yes.
Specifically. And so I was able to get my attack and my block up to just ridiculous levels by just pumping every possible martial art, which also gave me a bunch of benefits from a bunch of martial arts. And this is something Goku did not do. This was not part of the Goku build. He was just a key technician.
Yeah, because you had to get one level in Tao.
Yeah.
But also Gohan's build would have been super weak up until the point where he hit Super Saiyan.
Yes. So I was able to build it around kind of that, which I think makes sense for Gohan.
For sure. He's pretty weak until he hits Super Saiyan. We 100% that played into how the and you had the non-lethal martial arts that allowed you to fight in a very pacifist way. So you were really nailing that character, and from then on you started to play Goku and Gohan depending on who was alive and who was not. Spoilers.
I think it also it also made a lot of sense, because Chi-Chi's also a fighter, but a very different kind of fighter in comparison to Goku.
Yeah.
And while obviously she's not Gohan becomes stronger than Chi-Chi physically, very young, but I don't think that means that Chi-Chi stops sparring with him and teaching him what she knows.
Yeah.
Which a lot of what she knows is probably more along the martial arts end of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And more about refined techniques and specific styles, and I think you technically one of the builds is restricted to one of the martial arts that I had to give Gohan is technically restricted to only women. So Chi-Chi definitely taught him that one.
Celine, yeah.
But I think it's a really interesting way of tying all together who Gohan is as a person and all three of his parents if you include Piccolo.
Yeah. So there's a thing you can do in a fight where you grab somebody's hands and you twist it in behind their back and it really hurts, and that's not something you ever see in Dragon Ball. The dirtiest fighting that I've seen is Goku bites Boo's head when he stops playing fighting fair, but someone who isn't relying on power levels Chi-Chi would know more stuff like this to teach
how to fight a
Gohan.
larger opponent, how to fight someone stronger than you.
It just made sense for you to have a level in Tao.
Yeah.
It was key 7 levels of key technician, 1 level of Tao, and then 1 level of mentalist, because you became the Super Saiyan. I start to describe how it feels, the fact that you feel you're able to sense key signatures and everything is moving away from you. The wind you're creating is buffeting all of the creatures around you. The birds are flying away, the land animals are running, the sea creatures are swimming as fast as they can, and the vegetation is getting kind of the land masses are shifting under the spiritual pressure. So you fight Ginyu, and he tries to do Okay, so I was playing with your old character sheet, Goku's character sheet, but I wasn't giving him like any of the techniques because he did just like in the manga, he getting the power levels doesn't necessarily get him the understanding of like how Goku fights and how Goku is such a good fighter. So you were kicking his ass, right?
7 ways to Sunday.
Yeah. And one of your techniques was give you a huge resistance boost. Like it was the technique that you had like created, like not even copied from anybody, because like Gohan's build didn't rely on copying like Goku's did. But you like optimized this character, so you were able to like resist body swap attempts. And
yeah,
then
I knew that the biggest weakness that this character build had was like mental resistance, but there were techniques that let you boost your mental resistance, and I was just like, okay, defense, especially because it was very like the whole point of it was like, okay, I'm in full block, come at me.
yeah, like you were getting like unlimited counterattacks from one of your martial arts and huge bonuses to defense. So like, and the better you defend, the stronger, like the more you get bonuses to counterattack. So like,
so
it was
the only
such
thing
a
I
good
was
build.
weak to was mental stuff, and so I had to make sure to shore up that defense using techniques.
Yeah.
It was a technique that I could do as like a reaction too, so
Yeah.
it's
So
great.
you have a couple of rounds of like fighting against your old character sheet just without the techniques, and you're kicking his ass. And then I start to describe that there is one creature that isn't moving away from you. You can sense a key signature. It's very weak. It's like it's got one key point. But it's coming towards you somehow, and you see this bird that is not flapping its wings, that is like in fact has folded its wings around it to avoid creating friction, and is like creating like, you know, the power up aura and the flight of somebody flying using ki.
Mm-hmm.
And you only need one key point to fly for a whole minute with advanced flight. So like that bird was making the most of his one key point. And basically like Gohan places himself so that when Ginyu like Gohan stops powering up, so that Goku, who's inside of the bird, Ginyu had killed the wrong one. Goku is able to like come in and place himself in between Ginyu and Gohan when Ginyu does the body swap again to try to win. So just like in the manga, except it was a bird, not a frog. That's how Ginyu is defeated, because he'd even like sabotaged Goku's body, just like in the manga. Like I was able to use the mechanics to repeat a lot of the beats while making it different. And then we stopped playing for a week, and I had a week to think about what Frieza would do. And I started the next game knowing exactly what Frieza would do in this situation. A Super Saiyan has just appeared, and the key signature of his lieutenant has gone out. Frieza already had, like, I had the horde mechanics with key technicians. I had a horde of key technician soldiers that were like the rest of Frieza's forces that were coming towards you at full speed, but like you were halfway across the planet, so it was taking time. And I was looking forward to that fight. It never happened. I really wanted to try those mechanics of like horde combat, but Frieza Frieza is back at his spaceship. He feels the power-up. He knows that there's Saiyans on the planet. Such power-up can only mean one thing. His worst fear has come to pass. What does he do in this moment? What's his opening move?
The only option is the nuclear option.
Yeah, exactly. So Frieza immediately goes up into space. Specifically goes to where he senses the key signature of Bulma, and opens up the door, flings Bulma like into space. She's like falling back into orbit. He's basically stopped any way of his enemies from leaving the planet quickly, and then he starts to power up to destroy the planet. It's what Frieza would do in that moment, and Frey was like, "Fuck."
Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think you described like a key signature that only could have been Frieza going up.
Yeah, and you were and you were like
towards Bulma, and I was like, fuck.
So you catch Bulma on re-entry, but you can't go into space most of the time. Bulma had capsules with spacesuits, so you wear basically you were like, all right, there's a couple of Namekians that are still alive. You guys, like the rest of the team, you go give spacesuits to the Namekians that are still alive, like the Big Elder who's dying, Dende, like everybody.
And, evacuate.
Like y'all are evacuating. I'm gonna go and deal with this. And
yeah, like Gohan was and Bulma were just like, get everybody off planet.
Yeah, and so
we can.
Goku goes up into space in a spacesuit, which like any amount of damage that I do is gonna rupture that thing and be an automatic win. And my build for Frieza, oh my gosh! So there's 4 types of magic in Anima. There's 4 different magic systems. There's magic, key techniques, psychic powers, and summoning. And Frieza has 4 forms. So I decided with each form I was going to try a different build, and I gave him Gnosis 20, so he had access to divine spells, which are busted.
Yeah. Yes.
So like you square up to him, you're ready to start fighting. You beat him on the initiative. So you got a round of attacks in, and then I was like, okay, and you realized a couple of things. Like he had spells that were ready to go off without him needing to take his turn and to accumulate. He just had to stop maintaining the spell that was holding the other spells back, basically.
Right.
So he was basically like, you were attacking, and then he was getting new shields and getting new defenses, like as you attacked. I was like checking off some boxes, and you were like, how much of this does he have? And I was like, enough. And you'd notice that, like, thanks to his like hover thing, he had a movement of 19, so he was able to move around really fast. So you were like, I gotta destroy that thing because his mobility is a problem. And when I took my turn, it was great because I actually took 10 turns. Divine magic,
slow time.
Yeah, and it's like, it was water magic, the thing that has freezer spells, it just made sense. And so like I had 10 turns to fight you. You still beat me in initiative by so much that I was having to deal with the surprise penalties. So like even though like turn 1, I was like, all right, I take 10 turns now. You still survive. You still survive. Like my busted character just like going all out. It was great.
You also were rolling like dog shit.
Yeah, I was like, come on! This is my first time getting to try Anima Divine Magic. And I hadn't held back too. I'd stored up like 10 turns worth of spells that I didn't even need to accumulate for. But yeah, Frieza is throwing everything he's got at you, and in his first form, it makes sense that you're able to give him a really hard time, but that he was still giving you a hard time. So then he sees that things aren't going too well. So what he does is that he retreats into your spaceship to take it over, sabotage it, and make sure you can't leave the planet, that you will die of oxygen loss before you can make it to another planet, right? And that's when the true hero, the MVP of this campaign, sacrificed himself. So Roby the robot had gone unnoticed, no key signature. He was still in the spaceship, even though the door had been flung open and all of the air was out.
He doesn't need to breathe because he's a robot.
Because he's a robot, and he sees everything that's happening, and he moves over to the controls and turns up the gravity, crashing Frieza's like hover thing and destroying it before Frieza can destroy the spaceship and then leave. Because with his movement, he would have been able to get away from you. And so but the gravity destroys Roby the robot completely, and there's this very tearful moment, and that's not when you became a Super Saiyan.
But
But you were close.
I was so destroyed. Roby! One of my oldest friends. My most trustworthy confidant.
Yeah, like
my truest counsel.
The guy who drove your car everywhere
I could not drive.
yeah, and got you groceries, and always had an answer to life's most difficult questions. But because Goku, the most difficult life questions that Goku can ask are relatively simple. He was always a great advisor, despite I love how we took a character that shows up on only 3 pages in the manga and just like
his sacrifice will never be forgotten.
It like we were tearing up. It was great.
Fully.
So yeah, you defeat his first form. So like that's the magic section taken care of. After that, I think I switched. Frieza's second form goes into psychic powers, because I did summoning third, and I did key techniques last.
I remember one of them I blew through quite quickly.
Hold on, no, I did summoning last. I did summoning last because I was using Hangman to. I kept the strongest for last.
I'm trying to remember if it was psychic or key that I breezed through, but one of them was a cakewalk.
So like you Frieza relocates, like the rest of the Z fighters are flying up, trying to get away from the planet before it blows up, because that's dangerous. And Frieza uses his higher mobility to get to them and try to like start using them as hostages and stuff like this. And yeah, the fight continues. I don't remember a lot of the details, but it went relatively quickly. You kick his ass on the I think you kicked his ass on two forms, and he was. He was.
I think you're right. I think both the psychic and the key techniques were pretty fast.
They were good builds, but your builds were better.
That Wolfang Fist, especially once I upgraded that shit.
Yeah,
that shit was good.
It was good. Like getting to do 10 times, getting to combine those things. Like Yamcha's technique used like 3 times in the manga. It was a staple for your build.
Much like Roby. Roby and Wolfang Fist.
the unsung MVPs. But what happens when I get to the strongest magic system in Anima, by far, summoning, is that I one-shotted all of the Z fighters, except Piccolo.
No, Piccolo's dead.
Yes.
Gohan.
No, I also killed Gohan in that moment.
Right.
Like,
we were then all in the afterlife. Yeah.
Meanwhile, back on Earth, Yajirobe or somebody else has gathered the Dragon Balls and is no, hold on. What was it? No, because Piccolo was dead. Meanwhile, Dende on planet Namek has gathered the Dragon Balls and wishes for Piccolo to come back to life, because the dragon there can grant 3 wishes but can only bring 1 person back at a time. So Dende and Gohan had figured out, like, let's bring back Piccolo, and then somebody else is gonna gather the Dragon Balls on Earth, and that was happening in the background. Everybody dies. You all pop up in the afterlife, and seeing that your son is dead, that's when Goku went Super Saiyan. So like you unlocked the rest of your builds that you'd been like saving points for the whole campaign.
Like level like 22 or something.
Yeah, because we you
passed Anima's like actual leveling cap.
Because dying or like going near death always allows you to level up. So in that moment, like both the fact that like Ginyu had like beaten your body up, and you'd had to use a senzu bean to be back, that was 1 more level up for Goku. Then you just straight up died, that was another level up. So like you were like, all right, my build fucking ready. You coordinated with everyone with the Dragon Balls to for a series of like quick wishes where on Earth the wish was let everyone who was killed by Frieza and his underlings come back to life on Earth, except for Gohan and Goku, who will return, who will be brought back to life, but on planet Namek. It was a little bit of a convoluted wish. I was like, that sounds like 2 wishes, honestly, but like I was like the
dragon was able to swing it.
Yeah, like I was like, I want this like epic fight to go down properly. So yeah, you and Gohan, both Super Saiyans, pop up for the final round against Frieza. He's in his like buffed up 4th form, where he gets a lot of the muscles. And I was like, since his high gnosis, I gave him 20 in every stat, including 20 in agility, which in Anima allows you to use your movement, even your passive movement, to go anywhere you want.
Yeah.
In a single turn.
And as I recall, our agility, like at least Gohan's agility was 19. So as fast as you could be without getting there.
Yeah, because you need to be a divine being in Anima to get your that attribute to 20. And your gnosis had gone up from being Super Saiyan, but it still wasn't enough to get that. So you were very fast, but you weren't the piece.
Yeah, I think Goku was like 18 and Gohan was 19.
Yeah.
It was something crazy like that, which is crazy fast. It is at the teleport anywhere you want in the world, but like not as passive.
No. It's so much weaker.
Okay,
like the step between 19 and 20 is like.
You're right, because like a lot of the early parts of this fight was literally just chasing him.
Yes. Because I was like, I've got ranged attacks. I know what the range of your attacks are because I've seen your Kamehamehas and stuff like this. I'm just going to stay out of range and shoot you both from afar. And then, like, multiple times he got cocky because he wanted to like, monologue at you. So he came close enough that Gohan was able to grab him. And then, like, I was throwing some hangmans, some of the, like, most destructive summoning powers in Anima, just to try to break free. I remember there was this...
Brody! Girlie! Brody girl, come on.
There was this round where he was trying to get away from you, and I had to when somebody tries to get away from you, you can use an attack to grab onto them, and then it stops you from and if you succeed there and you're rolling against, like, not their defense but their, like, acrobatics, then you get to keep them there, and I don't there was one point where Gohan was trying to get away, and you did that multiple times, and I was like, my only attack that has any chance of, like, successfully keeping you there is Hangman, but it's very, like, it costs a lot of magic to use every time, so and it can't do damage because you're not actually doing an attack, you're just keeping the person from going away. So like there was this turn when you were like, I'm just gonna back away a couple of times. Very good strategic thing where I was like, I'm having to spend so much mana to keep you close. And yeah, like y'all, like, used his cockiness against him, and I remember that you were having to deal with, like, 2 character sheets at the same time. You were like you were doing Goku and Gohan, and they were working together. It was beautiful, and the final blow we decided came from Goku, because, like, in order to preserve Gohan's, like, pacifism and not wanting to kill, Goku dealt the final blow.
But yeah, like, Goku doesn't like killing, but he'll do it.
Yeah, and then the last wish of the other Dragon Balls, the Namekian Dragon Balls, were used to bring you back to Earth for the epilogue, and I had a little bit of time to realize something. Okay, so I'd made the joke that in the manga, canonically, everybody who was killed by Frieza and their underlings gets brought back to life, which includes all of the Saiyans that Frieza killed upon the destruction of planet Vegeta. So canonically, all of those people came back to life in space without spacesuits and died all over again. Like that is a logical consequence. Like Raditz, King Vegeta, they all came back to life for a couple of seconds.
Before dying the horrific death of like having all of the oxygen pulled from your lungs.
Yeah.
Or I guess never having oxygen in your lungs because you just kind of came back.
Yeah.
Like, you just pop back into existence.
And your lungs get but so like because I'd made that joke to you a couple of times like beforehand because I'd realized that I also realized that the way you phrased your wish meant that all of the Saiyans were back on Earth.
Yeah, I mean it had been meant mostly to bring like
the Namekians
and Bulma and the Namekians back, but like yeah, they were there too.
Yeah. And
it was actually pretty crowded there for a minute.
Yeah, like a bunch of Namekians were there.
Like others, it's presumed that Frieza has destroyed other planets also.
Yeah, he had practice before Planet Vegeta. He didn't look like he was like, oh, this works.
Yeah,
like
that wasn't like take one.
Yeah,
so it was a pretty crowded planet there for a minute.
Yeah, and we did this like beautiful epilogue where like as all of the aliens were figuring out what was happening, but also they weren't like fighting because there were two Super Saiyans with very high power levels like in the same places as they all were, and they were like we're gonna not cause any problem. We're gonna figure out what happened. We were all in the afterlife for a little bit of time, so like this is disorienting. So like they let you have your epilogue where we had role play between Goku and every single character in the story that we'd introduced so far. Like you had talks with Bulma, Tao Pepe, and we also described how things would probably go for those characters moving forward, and was a very beautiful scene. And I think we ended the campaign with you spotting a figure in the crowd of Saiyans that had hair just like yours. And before you could meet Bardock, that's where we brought it to a close.
Yeah.
You were so high level in terms of Anima that there was no interesting way to keep going the power scaling and to keep going with the other arcs. And the bring back all of the Saiyans plus other aliens was such a huge shift in the canon that like any arc that I tried to do beyond that would have been like way too affected to like for the story to remain Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
You know, like so yeah, that's where we decided to call it quits. And I think that in a lot of ways we improved on the original source material. I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but my experience of this game was better than my experience of the manga. We fixed a lot of the old pervert stuff, and like we had more fulfilling things to have, like conclusions to the arcs of a lot of the characters. And yeah, that I feel like we nailed the ending by leaving it on the cliffhanger of, and now all of the Saiyans are back. What's gonna happen next?
Yeah, I think we talked to like I think we decided that like Tao Pepe was gonna like actually earn his redemption this time.
Yes, he decided to go like kind of more superhero and like trying to save people, and even learned from Gohan some of Gohan's like non-killing techniques. So he went from assassin to like rescuer.
I know we talked about like Bulma and Raditz would have like tried to make it work for a while, but like maybe even it worked for a while, but eventually like she got bored of him and
moved on to Top Dog, of course.
I mean, that guy's bigger, tougher, and meaner, so like
he kicked your ass, Raditz. That's how I'm going with Vegeta. It's also because like they're such a power couple. Like he's a prince. She's kind of like fickle, but she's also like an inventor that's able to make wonderful contraptions. Like canonically, she comes up with a shrinking watch that allows you to become this size, and a time machine, and those are just the two, like, and the Dragon Ball detector.
Yeah.
Like, those are all like pretty important.
And I mean, at a minimum, like, yes, all Saiyans are alive. So Vegeta does have more options that aren't humans, but also she's someone who's very close to the only two known Super Saiyans, and also like of interest to another Saiyan romantically, like someone who Vegeta does know.
He would love to stick it to Raditz.
Yeah, I think he would think it was funny.
Yeah,
and like I think when it became clear Bulma was interested in him, Vegeta would like allow it to play out just as like a I'll get closer to Goku, to Karkarat.
Yeah. But then being like, oh wait, she's the most important human on the planet.
Yeah.
Like, she might not be the president of the Earth. She might not be Mr. Satan. You don't want to know. He's a terrible character. But like her.
If Earth should have a queen, it should be Bulma.
Yeah, like also spaceships. She comes up with spaceships like after having a look at the technology for just a little bit. We described like Gohan going on to like keep going with his studies. We talked about like the continuation of your loving marriage. We talked about how Bulma would get just another robot from Roby the Robot's line, and just like lie to Goku and say, hey, I repaired him, he's fine, and Goku just never being like,
oh yeah,
yeah, like he being he's having to relearn where our house is, but he got knocked on the head pretty hard. It makes sense.
It's a really big head.
Like, and just Roby the robot comes back into your life in a different form. I think like, yeah, and
I can just imagine like Chi-Chi like locking eyes with Bulma, just. I know what you did, but I'm not going to tell him either.
The serial number on his back leg is different, but Goku doesn't.
Him happy.
Goku doesn't know the numbers, so it's fine.
It's fine. It's all fine.
And I think earlier today we discussed what would the Saiyans do, and it's probably like, oh shit, we have a king, but also we have two Super Saiyans that are legendary and that can absolutely rival King Vegeta's power level by a lot. So like in our warrior culture, they're top dogs. Also, they killed Frieza. Like, they avenged all of us. They should be in charge. And then we were like, yeah, Gohan would definitely not want to be in charge of a culture, of a warrior culture, and he's too young. And Goku, like, when we stopped the campaign, you'd said Goku wouldn't want the position, and I was like, all right, perfect opportunity for a tournament to determine who's the strongest. So, like, time skip, I would have Vegeta be able to become Super Saiyan. It would have been a great tournament arc with a bunch of Saiyans, Piccolo, and and then just before the end of the tournament arc that could determine who was going to be the new King of Saiyans, Frieza comes back to Earth. It has to be interrupted. But what actually what we realized would be the more logical thing to happen this morning was that
if anyone like pitches this to Goku, his first thought is, let me ask my wife.
Yeah. And then Chi-Chi would be like, those people are dangerous. We need somebody sane to be in charge. My husband might not be the brightest person, but he will take advice.
Yes. And he's not like actively evil. He is a good person who will listen.
And so, like, as the second Super Saiyan,
and like, it's not 100% clear to anyone but Gohan and Goku who the first Super Saiyan is. I don't think either of them would necessarily divulge that.
Raditz and Vegeta and all of the other Z fighters that were on the planet that got killed, everybody got killed in the same attack. So they would know that.
They would know that Gohan is a Super Saiyan.
Was the first Super Saiyan, because like Goku only goes Super Saiyan after he dies. In our canon, but like it does like it doesn't matter who was first, really.
And also, I very much see Goku like asking like Gohan, like, do you want that to be your reputation? Is that something you want for yourself?
Oh yeah.
Like, think about what that means, especially in this context. Or rather, like Gohan asking himself a little bit about that, and kind of like going, and like the two of them together agreeing, it was you, Dad.
Yeah, you were the first.
And once again, Goku will take advice, like, and if his son doesn't want to have been the first Saiyan, like I can even see it as being like it's so cool that you did this, I'm so proud of you, son, and Gohan being like, don't be. It was you.
Yeah. So King Kakarot is, I think, with Chi-Chi as Queen Regent, who would like
functionally a regent. Yes.
Yeah, like just like be there to like advise in all situations.
She's the one setting the economic policy. Like
her dad was a king.
Yeah,
you know? Like
it just makes sense. But like, sort of like I'm referring to like George R.R. Martin's like, what was Aragorn's tax policy? Goku's not saying that. That's all Chi-Chi.
Yeah. First person to be nominated advisor is Bulma. Second person to be nominated advisor is Roby the Robot.
Yeah.
Third person to be nominated advisor and heir is Prince Vegeta. Third person to be nominated advisor is Raditz, because he has cultural context.
And has at least like some degree of redemption under his belt.
Yeah. And fourth person is Vegeta, and he's named heir, just because you were like the bloodline. It makes sense.
Like eventually, like that becomes the case. Like I don't think that's something that would be right out of the gate, but especially like as the romance with Bulma and Vegeta progresses, and Vegeta like chills out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like not, I mean, he's always Vegeta, but. But as he chills, then I think especially when it becomes clear that Gohan really doesn't want this. Like
Yeah.
Like really, really would rather just be like a human who is very good at defending the people he loves if needed to. Then yeah, I think Goku is just like names Vegeta as his heir. And like by this point Vegeta is also a Super Saiyan, and so literally like everyone's just like, yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that was a very fun campaign. Like, I apologize that I contaminated you with Anima, but like you were like, yeah, I understand Anima, and I was like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You've only explored the key techniques. You don't know what this system is capable of. And you offered me the chance to play what I'd always wanted to play. I wanted to play a summoner that started from level 1 to like higher level, getting a lot of a lot of familiars from the very beginning, just so that I could make like the build I'd always dreamed of. And I told you, like, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Like, you think you understand the balance in Anima, but like but look at how hard the last Frieza fight was. That's what summoning does. And you were like, yeah, well, I'll figure it out. And you did. So we went on to do Final Fantasy X campaign, where I was playing as Yuna. We called it Yuna Trigger, in reference to the Luca Trigger campaign.
And I mean, I'm gonna be honest that by the time that we did get to the end of that campaign, we went into story mode. You did break all possible mechanics.
Yeah. Like after the fight with Yunalesca, there was no need to roll. Like my builds, like.
I think I like tried running one fight and I was just like, nope, story mode.
Yes. No, I used a combination of game mechanics that made it so that it was not like possible for any character who wasn't using the same combination to beat me. Like that's how broken Anima is. But in doing so, in finally getting to use all of the builds that I've been dreaming of using, I finally got to a point where I didn't want to play Anima anymore.
Yeah, because you put like a lot of the like more martial kind of build up against me as opponents.
Yes, I got to try all of those.
And then the last one to excise was like your ultimate summoner build.
Yeah, so 19 agility gives you 25 kilometers in 3 seconds. So like not like halfway through the planet, but then like 20 just gets you everywhere.
I think I like also between psychic powers, like I had like increased movement from that also.
Yes, your agility wasn't at 19, but your movement was at 19.
Yeah.
All right.